And you don't need to decide about the copyright right now.
No, I've decided. I want to own my own book.
From that snippet of the stimulus, we can see that Jo March was very defensive about the copyright to her literary work. She refused to let the publisher hold the copyright to her manuscript, despite the amount of money that she was offered. You might be wondering, why is she so defensive about it? What is so important about copyright? Well, let me explain it to you. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Tasneem Binti Abu Hassan. My student number is 2025105377. And this is my assignment for ELS101, which is Listening for Workplace Communication. Back to the question, what is copyright? Copyright refers to the legal rights given to the originator of a created material. For example, an author has a right or an ownership over his or her manuscript to print, publish, or reproduce the material over a period of years. Moving on to the second question, why is copyright so important? Copyright is important as it helps to protect the value of an author or researcher's work. It gives the originator of the work the ability to protect it from unlicensed or uncredited usage. This leads to the prevention of their work being copied to the degree where they cannot sell it effectively or even receive credit for it. Furthermore, copyright fosters intellectual creativity as it provides an incentive for a creator to work freely, allowing them to gain recognition for their work. Criminal copyright infringement is a violation of federal law when a person intentionally uses or distributes another person's copyrighted material for financial gain. While most copyright infringement is between two private parties, it can rise to criminal charges when the government takes action because the illegal use or sharing of copyright material is done on purpose. The FBI has recently made intellectual property theft a priority of its criminal investigative program. The Church law firm, based in the United States of America, specifically located in Atlanta, Georgia, stated that there were several potential penalties and sentences for criminal copyright infringement. For example, you can be sentenced up to 10 years of prison or get fined a total of $250,000. A quite recent copyright issue that we can take as an example is American pop star Taylor Swift's issues regarding the copyright of her older music. Big Machine, Taylor's management company, had illegally sold her older music to private equity group Itacha Holdings, an entity owned by powerhouse music manager Scooter Braun. He then sold her masters to another company, Shamrock Holdings, for a reported $300 million. Hence, Scooter Braun reaps profits whenever Taylor's master recordings are streamed or bought. Taylor had taken the initiative to re-record her songs in order to get back the copyright to her old music and gain the profit she deserves from her original work. With that being said, there are a few legal ways to use other people's original work. One of them is using that original work once the copyright has expired. The expiration of one's copyright of a literary work is 70 years after their death. Aside from that, you can also use someone else's work if the copyright holder has given you permission to copy the work, or that specific work is governed by a license granted by the copyright holder themselves. Moving on to the next issue found in the stimulus.
So I get nothing if it fails.
No, I'll give you $500 right now to buy out the copyright. Didn't you say your family needed the money more immediately?
Yes, they do, which is why I wanted upfront payment.
As you can see, the publisher tried to bribe the author with $500 to give up the copyright to her manuscript knowing that the author is in desperate need of money. Let's get into the topic of bribery in workplace settings in further detail, shall we? Bribery involves offering, giving, or receiving something of value to influence an outcome. There are a few examples of bribery. One of them is, of course, bribes, which refers to gifts, hospitality, or payments to secure a business deal. Another example of bribery is kickbacks, which are payment for favorable treatment or access. Lastly, there is nepotism, which means hiring or promoting someone based on personal connections rather than merit. Identifying potential risk is the first step in prevention. Some potential signs of bribery that you should be cautious about includes unusual payment structures such as large or irregular payments, particularly to offshore accounts. Furthermore, you should also watch out for excessive hospitality or gifts like lavish or disproportionate gestures designed to influence decisions. Additionally, you need to also watch out for third-party involvement, which might lead to the use of intermediaries to obscure unethical transactions. However, you don't need to worry as there are many ways to prevent bribery in workplace settings. One of them is to develop robust policies and procedures. Clear anti-bribery and corruption policies set the tone for ethical behavior. Developing robust policies and procedures helps to establish clear guidelines, promote ethical decision-making, and ensure accountability. Aside from that, workplaces can also monitor and audit activities done by the employees. Regular audits can identify irregularities and weaknesses in internal controls. Focus on areas such as financial transactions, contract approval, and employee expense claims. Use monitoring tools to flag unusual patterns and address them promptly to ensure compliance with policies. Regular oversight reinforces accountability and detects unethical behavior. In conclusion, issues in workplace settings are often overlooked and disregarded. It can't be denied that issues such as bribery and copyright crimes have many negative impacts on individuals and the workplace itself. Therefore, we need to stay cautious and report anything suspicious to the upper hand management. If the issue gets out of control, we shouldn't hesitate to report it to the authorities. These actions must be taken to ensure a safe and ethical workplace environment for everyone. That is all for my presentation. Here is my list of references. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye!